What's up, everybody? This is Jon and Carmine with Cartridge Blast Gamers. We're going to talk a little bit about what happened over the weekend. A lot of big gaming announcements, a lot of big shows that happened. We had the Video Game Awards, we had PSX, and we don't want to go in too deep into what kind of happened. It's a really long conversation for another day, I think. But we're going to pretty much just tell you the top three things that I'm excited for and the top three things that Jon's excited for. So, Jon, do you want to take it away?
Sure, sounds good. Thanks, Carmine. Like you said, it was a big weekend. Back-to-back stuff really going on. So, yeah, top three for me is definitely going to be the Crash Bandicoot remake, the Resident Evil 7 trailer, and the new Legend of Zelda footage, really.
So, let's start with Crash Bandicoot real quick. Excited? Do you like what you see? What was the animation good? Was it too cartoony? Because I've heard different mixed things about it.
Well, listen, Crash Bandicoot is cartoony. I think the way it looks is great. It looked like it was playing awesomely. It wasn't like what they tried to do with the Turtles 2 remake back in the day for Xbox 360.
Yeah, where they kind of just killed the animation style.
Yeah, this just looks like a perfect update for the games. I remember playing 1 and 2. I loved them so much. 3 was great. But they seem to capture everything in it.
Yeah.
And the trailer just got me really excited.
Yeah, I mean, it's all for $40 too. Like,
I know.
The retail price is going to be.
It's great.
So 3 games like that, I'm pretty excited for it myself.
So.
And what was the next one? Resident Evil 7?
Resident Evil 7. I mean, I've been a big fan of the franchise. I pretty much have all the games, the main story games. And I'm curious to see where they're going with this one because it really is looking to be a very different game from what's come out.
And that's what we kind of talked about. Like, Resident Evil, usually always over the shoulder, third person. First time that they're delving into the first person side. I'm sorry, it was always third person, and now they're finally doing first person. Where's your feelings on that?
I mean, to be honest, I played the first 2 demos that came out. They just released a new demo. We're soon to play that, but I didn't get to that yet. But to see what it's looking to be, I'm a little nervous about it because it is very, very different. But I'm curious to see where they're going with it because the series, as you guys know, kind of went more in an action direction.
Yeah.
Like, it started out
a little bit too far in that direction.
Yeah, it kind of tried to compete with, like, some Gears of War gameplay, especially in the 5th one. And then the 6th one was just a mess of, like, everything. They tried to throw everything in
Too many
there.
ideas.
So
being thrown around.
I think they kind of just put a giant X on the storyboard, or, you know what they say, back to the drawing board. I think they put a giant X through everything they had and said, let's just do this. You know, and is it something we want? I don't know. But I think it may be good because, like I said, the 7th one, or the 6th one, I feel like they just wanted to please every single person. You know, and they try to get new people on it, but for me personally, it was just too much.
Yeah.
But this one, I really hope that it turns out good. It looks like it's going to be freaky from the trailer and everything that I saw.
I think they're really doubling down on that horror aspect of it, and that's why I think first person is a little bit easier to do a lot of that horror stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you'll have the jumps from a third person perspective, but not the same, like, all of a sudden you're turning to one area and there's something in front of you.
Yeah, the thing I worry about is because, you know, Resident Evil has been known to be pretty long games, different, you know, places to visit. This, from what we've seen, I just don't feel like the whole game's going to take place here. I feel like it's just going to expand, and I'm worried because this is technically Resident Evil 7. It's not like they're rebooting it or anything, so I'm interested to see where they're taking it in the Resident Evil storyline. Like, is it going to start out with this, like, creepy scenery and then, like, just end up, like, back on the streets somewhere? Or, you know what I mean? But, I mean, we're just going to have to stay tuned to find out, really.
And the last part of it, I feel like it's a small environment because it's like a house. It's not like a mansion, but it's like a house, and you're interacting with these crazed family members.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see kind of where it goes. And I'm trying to figure out where zombies play into that.
Right.
If they're going with that. We're assuming it's a biohazard. They're calling it Resident Evil Biohazard, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. But I'm assuming they're zombies, but how does that all play in? Is there something beyond what we've seen so far?
Well, that's what I'm worried is, well, not worried, but wondering as well, are they going to keep it in this, like, small setting, or is it just going to, like, move on to another crazy setting where you're in the laboratories of something or whatever. And
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, there's been so many, viruses, the T virus and all that stuff. Like, it pretty much formed into these new things every game. And I'm curious to see, like, what is the world outside these little houses, and is it going to explore that, and how are they going to keep that horror feel? Because in the demo, I think the second one, you answer a phone and people were saying it sounded like Ada Wong, who's been a big part of the series since Resident Evil 2.
Uh-huh.
So that kind of gets me thinking that there's going to
be a tie-in
somewhere, but I don't know how they're going to maintain this horror feel while doing that. So that for Resident Evil 7, I am excited about that. And pretty much the Legend of Zelda footage got me really excited.
Okay.
Because I haven't been following it too much. Each Zelda kind of takes a long time to come out. And I was kind of waiting, because I like to be surprised with things. They're going to show footage here, show footage there. But I was kind of waiting, but I did see this footage, and it looks great. It's not like fully cel-shaded like the Wind Waker, where it's like childish.
Yeah, almost cartoony. A little bit too cartoony.
Yeah, this kind of like feels perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know, it just looks great.
I mean, a big enough world. Looks like there's going to be a ton of stuff to do.
Yeah.
You would hope. With anything like that, I don't think Nintendo's going to kind of go that route. Anytime you see like an open world, you're always kind of worried, like, is it going to be repetitive objectives or a repetitive quest?
Yeah, that's true.
So hopefully, I think they're going to knock it out of the park because they're Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just going to be about where everybody's playing on it, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
Whether it be the NX or the Wii U. We only saw gameplay, I guess, of the Wii U version of it.
Yeah.
We won't be seeing anything from the NX until January. So.
Well, that's what I'm excited for, because, the Wii U, that's all we've seen. I'm just curious to see what the NX is going to be. Is it going to be like a remastered version of it, where it's like just like that much better? Is going to be better gameplay? But really, so far, I'm just excited that it's soon going to be, brought out into the world. So that was my top 3, guys. I don't know what you guys saw, but Carmine, what do you think?
My top 3 between the Video Game Awards and PSX. The first one is Nex Machina by the Housemarque developers, same guys that did Resogun and Dead Nation. Really, really great developers when it comes to that arcadey type gameplay. Really like masters of gameplay in that realm.
Yeah.
So whenever they announce a new project or that you see something that comes out from them, usually always a dual stick type of a gameplay, but always a ton of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff going on, a lot of particle effects and everything else going on your screen at once. Is just always kind of like in your face, and it's just gets me a little giddy.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited about that. They're working on a few titles right now, but this was something I didn't know about. It came out of left field.
Mm-hmm.
They're also working on another game called Matterfall.
Okay.
So they're busy. They're a smaller studio, but they're busy. And so I'm really excited to see more about that and get my hands on that because, like I said, the games are usually so much fun to play.
It did look awesome.
Very simplistic for the most part. You can just jump in, play for an hour.
In your face action.
Get your fill. With a lot of great gameplay. Second thing that I'm really excited about, Mass Effect Andromeda. They finally showed actual gameplay. They've been showing developer documentary footage for the last 2 to 3 years, not really showing gameplay.
Yeah.
We got a little bit of gameplay not that long ago. It was just them boosting from one spot to the other.
I know.
This was a little bit more in-your-face action. You saw kind of the expansive world or the planet that they were on.
Mm-hmm.
The interaction with different enemy types, and not only different enemy types, but different wilderness that could actually potentially come up and kill you. So I'm really excited to see more of that. The only thing is that what they showed us, is it going to be like every planet you're going to have this big sprawling world, or is it going to be you're going to go to this planet and you're going to have kind of a sectioned off world that you can kind of explore, similar to like what Destiny is,
right?
Where you have an area and you have a limited space of an area, but like you will, if you go out too far past that area, you're going to die type of situation.
Yeah. Hopefully not, because when they have things like No Man's Sky that come out where people think they're getting one thing and then get another thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. And that's coming off of everything that happened with No Man's Sky and going to Mass Effect. Mass Effect looks like what some of the instances of No Man's Sky should be, because you're going planet to planet, you're exploring it. So I'm trying to temper my expectations right now until I see more of it. Excited for it regardless. I was even a big fan of the actual multiplayer. The multiplayer was a lot of fun. It was wave based. It was just really fun to play with like 4 people.
Yeah.
And they said that they're bringing that back as well. Really excited for that. And then my third thing is obviously we got to talk about Last of Us. Last of Us Part 2. Not too much to show.
Yeah.
They showed a trailer. They showed a CG trailer. A lot of interesting stuff going on in the trailer. I want to find out more, but this game is going to probably be 2-3 years off at this point.
You think so?
Because Naughty Dog wants to take their time. They'll delay a game. They're not afraid. Like, Sony will not be afraid to delay a Naughty Dog game if they think it's going to make it better.
Yeah.
We've seen it with Uncharted 4. We saw it with the first Last of Us. They know that if given enough time, they're going to give out an A product.
Yeah, make something real special.
So I think it's a little far off. I think the announcement is huge. It got a lot of people excited, but everybody needs to kind of temper their expectations about when this is coming out. Because I don't it's not going to be out holiday 2017 or 2018. It may not be until 2019.
Think so?
I think this game is pretty far off. I'm excited for it because the last game I think could have stayed as it was, where the ending was, and been fine with it, and it could have just been that game,
right?
You know, and they said that they weren't going to do another story with Last of Us unless they found a story that they felt was worthy of telling.
Yeah,
and they said that they found it.
Yeah,
so that excites me greatly.
And Naughty Dog, of course, they've been pulling out awesome things the past. I don't even remember a bad game from them, to be honest.
Pretty much from Uncharted, it goes all the way back to Crash. You know what I mean? Like even looking at Crash, that's where they kind of started, where you started really seeing the Naughty Dog logo. Yeah. And ever since then, I don't think they've really ever come out with a bad game.
Right.
And some people love Crash Bandicoot. Some people love Jak and Daxter. Yeah. Those games found a niche for everybody. But now you're getting into what they did with Uncharted, and what they did with Last of Us, and it keeps getting better and better. They never go back. Yeah, they really just go forward.
They go forward, and like you were saying, they wouldn't have done another one, especially this, because like you said, a lot of people, they were kind of, mad that it's still going to be about Ellie and stuff like that instead of taking on another character.
Yeah.
But like they said, they wouldn't have done it if they didn't know. What they were doing, and they have something that's going to be very cool, I guess.
I believe it was Neil and Bruce, or maybe it was just Neil Druckerman. He said that they got to a point where they're about ready to give up with the story. Yeah. When they were trying to figure out what to do with this franchise, and they found a story to move forward with. Yeah. So if it's a lot of testing ideas back and forth and seeing kind of where it was supposed to go, and they got to a point where they're like, maybe we shouldn't do this, and then they found that storyline, that excites me greatly. Yeah. Because that means it's the best of what they probably could have come up with. So.
And like you brought up, it might be far off. Yeah. We don't know how far off, because they were saying they weren't even going to release anything. They were going to hold off till E3 to show a trailer like this, but they wanted to bring out something for the event, but this, like you said, this could be very, very early, one of the first things they were able to get out, so it could be very early in its development, so we might not get anything, like you said, for a couple of years.
It could be a while.
And you know what? We're okay with that, because if they're going to bring out a A+ game...
Yeah, exactly. Take all the time that you need. Yeah. I'm totally fine with... Naughty Dog has earned my trust at this point, so take all the time that you want. I'll be pre-ordering and I'll buy it as soon as I can. I'm not gonna that's just one of those games I don't want to hear anything about.
Well, that's just
like you were talking about. You don't want to see anything from Zelda really if you don't have to. You want to go into it blind, and that's what I want to. I'm gonna be excited for it, but I just want to go in blind because of how special the first one was.
Exactly, because games like these, they take time to develop. So if you watch something in the beginning, it's just gonna hype you up, and by the time you get to it, I mean. Naughty Dog, I'm not really worried about it, but for some games, you don't want to do that, because by the time the game comes out, you're going to be like,
And Naughty Dog's usually pretty good about keeping certain things under wraps, like that first scene in Last of Us.
Yeah.
Nobody knew about that.
Nobody
saw
knew,
that.
yeah.
And you didn't know about it until everybody got the game.
Yeah.
So. But not to go off on a tangent here. All right, guys. Well, that's our top 3 games that we're most excited about, or announcements that we're excited about. The one thing we did want to kind of end off on is just talking about Hideo Kojima, and
yeah, he. I mean, it's awesome to see him finally get his award because last year, pretty much. Konami pretty much told him to F off.
You're stuck in this room.
Yeah, and they put him in this little tiny room, and they had to use not even walkie-talkies, but they wouldn't let him see his development team. They kind of treated him like crap. I don't know why. I don't know if there's an actual story or truth about it why, but it was a shame that happened to him. But it's great to see him finally get the award that he deserves. I mean, I've been a great big Metal Gear Solid fan.
You turned me on to Metal Gear. And then I was like, all right, I'll get the Metal Gear John. And eventually I got the Metal Gear. I was like, oh my god, John is so right about all these games.
Yeah.
All right, guys, so that was our top 3 announcements that we were most excited for. Make sure to hit us up again in the comment section of this video. Make sure to check out all the other videos that we're doing with our Modern Mondays. We're actually streaming on Twitch. There's a bunch of other videos that you can actually check us out on. Hit us up on Twitter, and then,
Yeah, and stay tuned, guys. We got a whole bunch of videos coming out. But thanks again for watching. I'm John for Cartridge Blast Gamers.
I'm Carmine.
And we'll see you next time, guys. Stay awesome. Peace.
Later.